No more week-to-week encounters. The battle from here on will be fought almost every day. If you want a shot to battle against the best in the world, you have to prove it. And today, BBL and Navi have the perfect opportunity to make that statement. First, let's go into the map, Vito Mini.
BBL banner split, this is what I expected. And then Navi leaving Lotus open.
Choose Shime. What's up?
Pick it. I'm looking at that map as, you know, historically Navi not being comfortable on that map at all.
Yeah, I think for me, like,
Navi is
interesting. I know that Angel had said that, you know, one of the best items
is
Fracture, but time and time again, that's proved to not be the case, right? They've lost the 2 times that they've played it throughout the regular season. So, yeah, interesting that they've decided to go there. I think Ascent, as a decider, is such a great decider. We've seen such an improvement in BBL's performance on that map. You saw that crazy 23-25 versus...
We're down for another 48 rounds.
Yeah, bring it up. I want to go there again.
I'm kind of sad that we do not get to see the Haven pick last
Já, dobrý, a celkem se mi ta hra dneska myslím, jak to. Ahoj Zojko. Ahoj všichni.
I mean, historically, Navi, even though that we've seen them for, I believe, 3 out of the 5 weeks banning that Ascent, it was going to be the 3rd map if we ever got there versus Vitality. So leaving this one as a 3rd, it's not surprising. I just, you know, wanted the Haven.
How doing, Kamara? Doing good, doing good.
Billy, what can we expect now focusing on this first map on Lotus?
How you guys doing?
Lotus for me is interesting. I like that Navi decided to switch up their composition. I know that the first kind of iteration we saw, I wasn't a huge fan.
10 hodin extrém, kámo.
Probably expecting to see them play the same.
Ne, dneska za každý končím na jednom arar před derankem. Takže derankem. Rád. Tak kolik dneska bude technických pauz? Já doufám, že 0. Já koukám tenhle zápas. Předplán na dnešek je, že koukám na tenhle zápas faním Magnumovi a pak nebudu koukat Fnatic proti Food. Budu off stream, dělat vám videjko, připravovat pro vás něco. No kámo. A Lone v BBL může hrát jetku na Lotusu, já v italské jsem musel hrát race, no to je jedno. Ty jsou out, ne. Ty čekají v loveru. Na teď co prohrajou tady ty hry. Já dám tenhle zápas, druhý koukat nebudu, budu stříhat video a pak až dohrajou, tak budu hrát raket. OK. Třeba včera Valorant měl být update, že byl pak pasy, jaj. Oni už nehrajou čem. Musí padnout DA3, jinak jsem 0, gl. Já jsem včera skončil kolik? Já jsem včera skončil 11-0, kámo, na tom určitě, tak uvidíme, jak to půjde dneska. Poslat klipísek, pošli, než se začne hrát.
Thanks, guys. Yes, in what proves to potentially be a historic day for BBL.
They debut in
the playoff stage and a chance to make it 4 consecutive wins, something they've never done in VCT EMEA history before. Navi are here and ready to play spoiler, fresh off the back of a win against last time's kickoff champs. Yeah, and as well as that, Haza, when we look at stage 1,
teď kde je ta hra rozbitá.
full time they haven't changed the comp when they've revisited the map. They're revisiting Lotus, changing it for the first time in playoffs. For BBL, we've seen them start to regress in terms of playing with a jet now rather than playing with more intricate compositionally wise.
Yes,
so looking at this, looking at Lotus, there's so much to be excited about.
Nemáš time. Potom. Mám tady ready, OK?
Navi haven't won this map since week 1, stage 1, 2024. They have a trend of wanting to play it and then changing the comp. They've done so the last 4 times, this the 5th.
Zradím.
Starting on the defense, you can already see the protocols in place. Early positioning Angel outside of A. Stacked setup C to be tested.
Oni mu dropli šerifa, on má armor. Magnum mu normálně dropnul šerif, on nic nekoupil. On jenom Lunovi dropnul šerif. Mělo to být to fakt nakonec ne. Ale on nakonec bez šerifa. Dobrý drop. Tady já jdu hrát, OK. Sásky, chcete sásky? Ok, hned budou.
And even further time for Navi to reset. It's a 5 versus 3, and will BBL have to give up all the ground that they've got on sand?
Still though, you look towards Angel all alone on the east side. Untradeable. He knows what he needs to do. Backing off and playing a lot more passive.
There was also a cam up in sand as well that only just got broken by Yampi on the way out. So a little bit of an information vacuum, but very quickly that void is filled. Navi now know. The captain calling it in. Where BBL will look to end this.
Something that BBL have been very good at is fighting back in 1vx's, 2vx's, and a 3 versus 5. Can they do it here?
That's the question you're asking, and it's going to come through some clever positioning perhaps. Yampi leading the charge, Sociable right behind him. 2 players walking into the stairwell and 2 making an approach from spawn.
Chance, you've got to be looking towards that beat. Heaven player, and it's Prophet that gets the first kill.
Defuse.
They're off site now, Cairo, so this is a problem and the smokes are up.
Yeah, I mean, just going to defuse here. You need a player to get off the defuse, but Yampi comes in the right time. Still the defuse coming through, and Navi gets the pistol.
Sociable's going to walk away.
Dobrý komentátor, jo, Scottish boy.
But that's a frustrating way to lose the first.
No.
We know that BBL's pistols have been good. The best worldwide, some may say. And that always comes through the slight deviation in terms of preparation. But this round, when you go 2 players down, you're never going to be falling back on what that preparation looks like. It's always plan B.
Something to keep our eye on as well as we move through this map is 11, right?
Oh, let's go. Thank you. Gary udělal jahody a maliny.
He's tied first in
Thank
first
you.
kill percentage per round, right? But he's also third in first deaths per round from stage 1.
That's exactly it.
Joko, čus bere.
Off what you've said.
Čus komej, ahoj.
He's always gone positive in first engagements, but they do still take a heavy toll.
Fakt jo? To je úplně nostalgie na barák. Ty krávo. Tak se máme vody na 10, Česku boj.
Absolutely no reason to give BBL what they want here.
It's a big investment into Watcher Antico.
Konečně mě vidíte, chat, jaký to je vlastně, konečně mě vidíte. A nevím, jak dlouhý době, po kolika dnech. Už říkal, že to je nějak zoomnutý, zalepka.
Gonna clear the corner, so how much more does Angel get? There's only 1 player pathing into him, like you say. Sociable has to open up the door for a second time, but Angel still not quite going for this timing. Now the sight hit comes through and he drops.
OK. Až se ti povedlo se přiotrávit, to je zase špatný jídlo. Koala. Jak ty hentai gify místo webky, jsou obrázky. Ty vole. Jaj.
Navi through the anti-eco, but not without a scratch or 2.
Yeah, playoffs drama, getting close, tight margins. I mean, that's what you'd imagine between these two, our mega Seed 2 and Seed 3 from Alpha. Now we head in towards BBL's rifle round, and they've done so
much bych teda viděl Sorinku, abys mohl honit. Prasa.
Not much of a conversation.
True. In terms of converting those rounds, Navi do not sit particularly high in the pecking order. I think the main focus for me coming into this full buy has to be for BBL converting from post-plant positions, but then also getting yourself in post-plant, even like 5v5, 4v4, something like that, because I have to say right now,
jo, to ty say no, všimni.
To lead the charge and once more, and supported by both initiators, they've already dumped utility, still building towards the first of those ultimates.
Angel switched up from the A side to the C side as well, the deadlock ready to combine with a Cypher.
Util is there, but Levin just trying to bypass this.
Ten baiter, vole! To jak já na ty jet. Takzvaně dešnu in a jsem schovaný ve smoku, já šel první. Já šel první, borci. To jako by víš co, ale já už tam prostě nemohl jako vyběhnout jenom tak, vy jste prostě jako na refrakt. Jako by šel z první, kámo. Udělal si chaos. Tvoji teammates využili tvého chaosu a dali entry, tak to má být.
Keep it for the next round. I think that's the option that they've elected for here. So much better from BBL, just quick, efficient trades. We've seen them a couple of times now condition that refreshable utility. This is the first time they act upon it.
And I think as well, Levin is the only one that dies, and I made a point of saying like his first death is pretty high, right? But he's getting value in the sense of the value of the space, and not only that, his trade ability as well, which I really like from BBL. It's nice and simple.
There goes hanging.
Of course, Levin as well moving back onto the jet, a little more dynamic in terms of his gap close. You saw the updraft used there, and it's actually Yampi's double with the stinger that makes all the difference. Now into the next, it is just those two saved weapons. I think my idea of the Navi economy was a little bit more ambitious than what they are actually working with.
100%. BBL just going back towards this C mound fight.
And to sort of hark back to how Navi are playing this, as you can see, Hero just trying to bait early on, and Koala Noob on the other extremity, working the map as they're trying to maximize this. BBL look to be pretty direct for a second round in a row.
Yeah, but this Rolling Thunder doesn't actually catch.
Já už dashuju dopředu a fajtím, kamaráde. Ten moment. Jak tam vidím pistolku, tak já už dashuju ke zdi a... To jsem takhle smavnul. Tu skandik. Když Madom hraje VCT, se asi usnul, asi spíš dlouho, no, docela koma. Máš docela ne lil koma, ale lil koma, přesně. Lil koma prostě. Lil koma je hodně v pohodě, no.
Steps being heard, but Angel giving nothing away. So that's how it ends. 2-2.
Something else to note from this round as well is the fact that Navi actually tried to fight for Mount, right? When you think towards the three players that started the
team blind. The only reason Shao dies there.
Dostanete jo, nevsem number one Teo hit. Trošku už dostal, ne? Už má jakoby, už se mu to nestakuje tím časem, ne? Myslím Teovi teď. Já mám za to, že na NA už byl včera. Já jsem včera hrál NA a byl jsem jako, kámo, Teo už má jenom jeden charge a on tam nemá čas, jakoby, že by se mu dobil ty rakety, víš co, takže možná na NA už to včera bylo. Wow, Koala, pojď.
BBL reset, trying to fight back through, and that's where they're going to have the jump on Koala. Shao still standing out in the open. The only player nearby is Ruxic in tree. Given just enough time to disengage, Navi will keep their man advantage.
On the other side of the map, though, the Cypher of Hero is going to try.
Já jsem na Teo viděl, že má jeden charge na raketě. A že se mu to jako nedobíjelo.
Meanwhile, BBL, try go B.
And Shao has shown his hand, but this positioning main is so strong. Taking the B site now,
especially
with Hero closing the net, means that BBL are stricken for options, and A looks like the only real outcome.
Nebo se jenom dement.
Have to look towards Ruxic, a man who's had an uptick in performance, and well, it's Shao and Angel are the ones instead to get the kills. Ruxic now to add on top, but it's Yampi.
Někdo neví, co s tím. Někdo určitě ví, kámo. Nic nebylo, OK. Určitě někdo, jo, kámo, bery. Určitě to dokážeš fixnout, brácho.
They do get the early info, there are rotations there. You're seeing the reaction as well from Shao to take the B main space, and as soon as that happens, he has a strong position here late. And BBL aren't able to set up that layering, the positioning that allows them to win in post where they have struggled. But another huge round coming up.
BBL, a lot more default, looking to explore the map, look for clues.
And you have to against this comp at times, and that is where you will find the reward. Sociable knocks down Hero. That's the up on attack in play.
And that's a massive gap that you've just opened up.
No, prostě, ale jako to, že jsem našel 4, neznamená, že to fixnou, chápeš, jo, ale... Já bych řekl, že každý jakoby... error se nějak dá fixnout. Fixy po vlastního se fakt nevím. Třeba máš prostě mrtku počítač. Hezky.
Advantage suddenly seeing with them, Spike drop towards Bend. Still a bit of time for BBL to make an adjustment, pivot away from this. That looks like exactly what they're going to do. As soon as the support of Sociable arrives, the door is turned, and B is on notice.
Evans, Blades, manages to dodge the Sonic Sensor, a tap of the Spike for a bait.
And with BBL being a player down here, Shao, I mean, Sociable's just turned
into
a
god.
He spots Shao, but he gets Angel instead. That's 2 players for the price of 1, and so back to C11 goes.
Time is getting low.
Pro tebou. Koala nádherně, kámo, sorry, jakoby já fandím to, jo, BBL, ale Koala tam vyskočil, kámo, sečlem, aby ho stihnul a... Insane.
There is just none left for BBL there. Sociable at the very least able to sidestep the
to snad to tam bude vidět, jak se sečlnul, aby ho stihnul.
As any kind of remainder into the next. But the op has been repossessed by Koala Noob after it found an acute first pick. Nice use of the ult from both teams to just clear space and make things ugly, as the Seaside can be at the best of times.
Já myslím, že Magnum hraje za Apex, si seš kámo normálně, že roka půl dozadu.
Seems as if they're still confident what they're doing, but at the same time, it's not getting the results that they're looking for. Have to be looking at Rootsick here.
On an island, but that's how he likes
prostě
to
low
play.
coma, no.
BBL not going to give him the time of day, not allow
chcete jahodu?
to be contacted, and actually Navi just doubled down. Hero here.
Dám svoji jahodu, jestli chcete. Kdo si dá moji jahodu? Nabídnu. Vyplázněte jazyk. Protože oči. Mám alergii, já tak to vydám svoji malinu.
Question is, do BBL still want to head into this, or do they expect an overextension from Navi elsewhere? Because being posted outside of C, Magnum would have heard the drone for the clear. They're gonna still head straight into this.
Yeah, the op is ready. Seen the barrel, and there goes Sociable. So quick. With that, Navi are so happy to leave that A site.
Ro, next question. Choose Tomko.
Still committed to
Tomko už je bez suba.
For a B pivot late, but once again it feels like BBL are running out of options. Navi not quite cottoned onto it. Sentinel utility in the
alergii na hrozný víno, jaj. To dostávají za suba, 40 korun.
But how does this post plant look? They've got to play aggressive again.
Hello, they gets one back in his favor, but Yampi, he's lucky to escape with his life. Spike though has been confirmed. 3 players towards the B heaven.
BBL are a little isolated in how they're choosing to play this. Profit space in Hobbit is huge though, and he will continue to find value with his smoke to support. Oh, free haircut.
Yampi's lucky, Magnum isn't. That was pure skill. There goes Hero. Navi taking their time, coming back in, waiting for utility to come up, and with that, BBL are in position to win, and they'll convert. Navi throw in the white till.
Ale prostě lurken.
A
co ty jako děláš?
On the board for Navi to make this workable, and Shao peeking into a pack of players. You were thinking that could have just continued to build their empire, but it's a slow process, as it has been for both of these teams throughout groups into the playoff stage.
Brilliant, Mark.
You grow into it, I think, as well, when you compare the two teams. BBL tinkering with what agent, what comps, what's working for them.
Navi jsem se kal za hradu pak osu Bradavice. On furt ty Bradavice, to je šílený. Já se stále držím svůj teor, že FAU nakupuje, vaří nebo spí. Nasranej, to nebyl Leven. People, co prostě píšou, ani neví. That's crazy. People, co prostě píšou stav a doma ani neví.
Senses players nearby, and so he continues to walk forward with the pin pulled. Still no player found.
Nemyslej ho, neskoušej tady na mě. Filipos. Tam byl jeden člověk, co měl nervy na té obrazovce.
And it's who can get there first. It seems to be Navi.
Jumpy knows it's a 1v1, but he's going to back himself. And so Hero goes down and the seaside collapses yet again.
Happy stream, jak to je konec.
The captain to courier the cargo over. As the spike goes down, it's another situation where you feel like Navi are not going to show too much interest in this one.
Že kotky nedeš na emo koncertě, tak nemáš právo obhajoby. Jakoby.
I mean, they're wanting to save for these rifles, but it will eventually come to a point where they have to start moving forward and actually trying to upset this one. You look at the money though, it's a decent enough decision.
Musíš sáp Filipos, abys měl zase obhajovací space. Ale jako kámo, že gotky nedeš na emo koncertě. Asky jsou otevřený na další mapu.
But the point that I'm trying to make here is, you know, Flyer on the desk was saying it the other week that the way to play against it and whenever they clashed in challenges in NA was that you're looking to meet him where he's going to be next rather than avoiding it. And I think you're starting to see that now with BBL, at least in terms of how they're
Interestingly enough here, we will be moving into a timeout, and it's BBL that's called it of the two teams, and they've had two successful rounds. So I wonder, does the coaching staff, have they seen something that they can work on, work against? Well, it was BBL on our screens, but it's actually Navi.
Well, hey, look. Maybe a double timeout?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Not again.
But in terms of what Navi will be talking about here, I mean, you won 4 out of the first 6 rounds. Taking a pistol away from BBL, from their hands, a difficult task, as many know, sitting just above 70%. They stage in the game as well. There are some big ults coming up for both teams. Armageddon on Shao, one off the showstopper. Gualanoob leading the charts. But then for BBL, it's that rolling thunder from Jumpy, which at times has been a tell of where they are looking to execute, as they do build around and build off him quite substantially.
Just to confirm, just in case.
Magnum.
They've looked different in game for us, but looking at this, big stat line, and I think as well, like when you think of how dependable and the utility that Angel's got, I think this is a massive stat line for them.
Saving a penny or two from the pocket of Jack Igo. We know who's giving out bundles for every few first deaths given away, and it looks like it would have been one for Hero, but it's Levin that adds to that terrifying tally. Jumpy bouncing back with a couple of his own, and BBL are in the driver's seat on C yet again.
But once again, Levin first death straight away traded out, and now BBL move into an advantage, and that what should be post-planned, but Spam is looking pretty good. BBL trying to sway that with their own utility. There's ultimates to come back in here though if Navi want to use them.
Absolutely. I mean, Magnum's going to disrespect the smoke solo. Looks like he's just waiting to walk in up close and personal. The Sheriff of Angel. It's the best course of action. He's walked in already and tried to spot out the first head. Angel's got so far ahead of this.
Jumpy ace.
Keeps half an eye on the situation, knowing that in that head-to-head he's so often lost. This one isn't going to go away from him. Navi's still running it into the site, but this feels like a formality. Magnum running it down, still time playing against them. And there you have it. BBL trading down their advantages perfectly. They now lead on Lotus.
I love how the BBL fans, you know, they had one chance to see their team go and play, and they've come in droves to support here. You can hear them in the background, giving it advantage that BBL can now work with as they move through this attack. Rolling Thunder, perhaps not the Armageddon, the Annihilation to come.
It is the Armageddon.
Sorry, apologies.
All good.
Jak go autočíš na něj E-sexem, mně se sebe moc, se to líbí. A kdybys radši double backnul a byl jako, no tak kdy je sex, ať můžu zautočit, a ty vole se... ten bot ti takhle nahraje normálně a ty myslíš open prostě. Open net. To je crazy. Nechci. Bych Essex Gavery nikdy neodmítl.
So player advantage BBL, it's the A space they find themselves in with this time. And having spotted that sonic sensor down, they know the space is open. What? That's crazy from Ruxig.
He's aggressive every single time. Rolling Thunder used to stall out the
boží muž.
And it's found. Yampy can't quite get the transfer of the cross here.
A Sára ďábelský muže. Když ho má nový skin.
Has to drop back because they knew the ult was coming in.
And they go still though. Navi, they've stalled out Profit onto the spike. They go. Profit needs to win that first duel but can't quite do it. And Shao with
Většíkem a masivně nakládá. Dostal na prdel.
Navi equal out the score.
It's a really strong position to be in now for Navi. They chose to start on the defense. You have to remember they are playing double sentinel. The expectation is that they lead this half, especially with the way that they started it. Just getting back on track as things stand, but BBL still have a lot to throw at them. Talking of Ruxig, I mean, this guy was lights out against Vitality. Felt like whoever was on the Omen, him or Koala, was the one causing issues. This is just something that BBL have to be aware of to punish him as much as possible.
Jaká jáhoda masivní. Rejží, vážně? Jo, všichni máme zavlečte.
Priority put on the extremities rather on B.
You've been getting huge value out of being proactive on B as well. Shao soon to be caught. It's actually Angel that drops. I'm not sure what the plan was there, but Navi had two players peeking.
Točí pálku.
Info back to BBL and with the spike headed towards A. This is where they will aim to finish what would be their 6th round.
Navi trying to be proactive here. Angel's got a great call on the round. The thing for me though, this is a must-win for Navi when you look at the money.
Just waiting to peek back out the smoke. The paranoia prepared. It catches onto a couple players. Ruxig, that's huge utility usage. The rest of Navi profit from it, but still.
Na Sáru nemůžeš brainrot ten kámo, to je brainrot queen normálně.
Ruxig is gone and there's only one more standing in his way. Sociable shifts from the door and Hero just re-clears.
30 seconds left.
But the spike is his. And with 6 bullets, and the Hobbit door broken by those salvos at the start of the round means that the dominoes have fallen in the direction that sets him up.
Thing is though, you look towards the Cypher utility still up. You can tap that cam to see towards Waterfall. You know a player isn't towards main.
10 seconds left.
Hero has information to work with here.
Question is how far does Sociable go? He has salvos and the ult, so Hero is already
Brr,
borrowed time and borrowed health. Has to get a move on here. Sociable knowing that he's low.
Doesn't want to reload either. Give away another audible.
Exactly. So he'll play the slow game. Hero now finally arriving on site. First of the salvos coming out as a precautionary measure by Sociable. Can Hero hold his nerve? He's not going to be given half a chance. That's the ult. Straight back in. But still there's time to pull this off. He has to get onto the spike right now and find half.
To Sociable zahrál úplně. Perfection, kámo, perfection. On si naběh na close mezi tím, co ta ultina byla, víš co, a pak hned to píkl přesně. Dun 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 dun.
Forgets about Sociable, the 28-year-old rookie.
The eldest rookie in VCT Emea since partnerships began, but you can already see why his teammates put so much.
Sociable sice hraje už jako by Valorant už jako dlouho, skoro od bety, jo, ale je mu 28, kámo, a to je first season. First season v tier 1 ve 28. Mám ještě času. Valorant where shooting matters.
But Navi are the first to fall. Koala at least to get the trade, but he's not long for this world. BPL winning out this A fight, and they continue on as they try to hunt down Shao, but he's able to escape.
BPL have access to the A site again though. Cairo, Hero the only player with a Vandal in hand. He's the closest by. If he drops,
Cypher Dave. God of soRa. Hezký gameplay. Yes. Goddess, goddess. Dance, dance. Ano, bohyně. Starý God of popelnička. Extrém. Extrém schytil boneku. Dvakrát po sobě, chápeš?
Again, just not enough time to even consider the possibility of this round being won by Navi. That's it, BBL confirmed their advantage. It's going to be a 7-5
BBL.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just touched on it. This is what we expect from Navi, but with that double sentinel on attack now, how does that work? But with that being said, let's hear from Yampi on how much it'd mean for BBL to make it to Masters Toronto.
I think for playoffs, our mentality is pretty straightforward. We want to qualify to Toronto. I think the stage 1 especially showed that we can do it. We are working every single day towards that and together as a team.
Nice. Defuse. I will defuse. I'm managed back. I have 2 bullets.
Nice defuse, please. He can't kill. Just kill.
I think if we qualify to Toronto, for me personally, it's another statement that I can be a tier 1 player. I was very, very close going back to tier 2 this year, and making Toronto is kind of mark that I can be a tier 1 player, and for the team, it would be an unbelievable experience.
Lojko, prostě ten bot to cítí. Cítí ty hormony a feromony.
Navi themselves have shown it in spells, but when they do, that often comes with change. Now into yet another pistol round. The question is going to be, can they tie us up early and show us the value of these changes? Or will we see more smiles from the audience as BBL have brought out numbers today?
I mean, that's it, right? On a day where history could be made, one away from making it to a Masters event for the first time for BBL. And you've got to be thinking, Navi as well, it's been a long time since they've been amongst the top in the world in Valorant.
A po tady ne. No, a hned Valorant se na ní vytáh.
An ongoing process for both of these teams from different places, and there is just a reminder that we have.
No, BBL jsou nejlepší globální tým s pistolkama. Pokla má 12-10. Vytáhl pouta, ten je pouta. Sádu, ty neser mě.
It's a big loss. You think of the initiation on the double sentinel composition, and it really comes from that deadlock.
Zojko, vole.
BBL have an idea about this C play.
Efektivita, já jsem prostě, mám malou rezistenci na to.
You can see Cypher being kept on B to keep that utility up.
Mám prostě malou rezistenci.
No, this is a great fight. Koala Noob taking down Prophet. Didn't have too much early info there either, but BBL interrupting things. Still,
okay.
Unperturbed. He gets his one. It is the spike drop though, as you say, and Ruxic has to find a way to follow this up. It's with the smoke, but does Levin leave it? Yeah, he does.
Happy with the 3v3 now, not giving Navi the advantage. At the same time, BBL, you look towards Yampi, moving through C Mound as Navi move on to A here. You can see BBL's defense just being a little worried about the space that Navi's taken because they've had so much time on this side of the map.
Points Navi did look a little bit split up from one another, but you can see the setup is inclined towards upper. They're grouping there, but BBL coming in through stairs.
All three towards backside, utility to work with, and it does look good.
Ten Koala ho obehrál úplně. abilitkama prostě ho obehral.
Navi win that pistol round, and that's the second pistol round that they've won in this 2 out of 2, even though they are the kings of pistol rounds BBL.
And it's the exact same way that Navi kicked off that win, which came as a shock to many against Vitality. They won both pistols on the opening map of Haven. This one is far more closely cut, I think, early on at the very least, but Koala Noob showing exactly what he can do. A player who, moving on into that next game, that qualification match for Toronto, could mean so much. Chance for a homecoming in front of a crowd, of course, with his own wife and child. I mean, it means so much for these players. That goes without saying.
BBL trying to create a trap play towards the A side. It seems like Navi
Pičkou penisu.
ready to fall for it as they move in.
No IC.
Side of the map.
No ICQ.
Levin was the only one left towards C.
BBL have stacked bodies up here. But it is just Levin's upgraded pistol that they have. That's on C. How good can these classics be?
Od kdy máš penis, Gaver, spíš od kdy ho nemá.
But they're walking right under their noses and sociable. Found. Oh wait, the classic's working, and that's one of the rifles that Navi had.
Still not bad though. I mean, yeah, you've got an upgrade, and actually this panic play into B sends them
Rida, no.
This could be massive for BBL.
Gaver nemá Rida.
Deals with players that were left towards the A side.
BBL vyhrou pistolky, hovno. Pojď.
There's nothing that can really rescue. In fact, sorry, there's one towards Mound.
Timing. Door opens up.
No way. Magnum's gonna peek out and Ruxik's gonna find it.
Ruxik mu to poslal, vole.
That rifle that BBL
To je
had
insta.
still looks towards Navi.
Ty vole.
The sheriffs may be able to kill.
Pistolky.
Levin's rifle that he got. And we go all even once again. Anti-eco denied.
Such a big round win for BBL.
No tlaky.
Just as I said, you want to see Navi keep this clean, build off the back of
Jak to střílí Magnumovi na pohodu.
wins that they found. They got to settle for 6 here. And look, BBL as a team, we know that they're super dangerous in these positions. They have the 3rd best eco round win percentage in the league so far. But then when you look at Navi, they're 3rd from bottom when it comes to that statistic.
I like this from BBL as well. On their next purchase, getting that outlaw in. I mean, they've even got a hero rifle from Hero, and it's gone straight like that.
That cape is stripped right from his bag. Levin, wow, it's just something out of top draw from Levin. His time is on rails. 3 quick kills. There wasn't all too much behind this from Navi, but it's the context in which it's just stripped away as Sociable sent them up to a 9th.
Every time, I don't know what it is, Levin just has these pop-off rounds. You name a match and you can think of one, right? That whether it's the Blades, whether it's the Vandal. And the fans are loving that.
One of their own, a player to celebrate from the Turkish league now to the top tier, the big stage. You need to take it one step further this playoffs. For every round he's had where he's gone down early and maybe been traded or even worse, not had impact. You get a couple like this from time to time where Levin is just tying them all up together. Nobody can get past him. Cracks the whip, the op has 2. It's a 2-player advantage which Navi will leave unanswered.
I mean, Navi still sitting B main, but you've still got that Cypher trap that will notify anybody trying to break through. Angel tries to come through the door. Sociable wins that 1v1. When it comes to gunfights, it's all BBL at the minute.
Levin still just looking over from upper. The bulk of BBL's retake is coming in from the A side. But already you can see Yumpy as the sole custodian of the C site. Just trying to backstop this. Help can't arrive soon enough. It is all on him.
Koala's first up. We've seen it giving away his positions though. Last pack out, Koala wins that. C site is now open.
And that's the duel which Navi desperately needed. Xiao just fluffing his lines a little bit on the plant, but it allows the showstopper to come back through. Damage, no kill. Prophet lives on 3. BBL have as many players, but the first of them falls. Finally kicked over the threshold, Xiao finding 1, but he needs all the rest. Ult available.
Pojďte Magnum, Leven ho vypne, pojď pěkně. Shorty! Shorty! Čau, Koneko.
His team setting him up perfectly. It's this fight back. And
Nebal tomu domyslel shotguns. Real?
A little bit of sloppiness once they're in front.
He does the perfect jiggle pick without doing it.
Jumpy complimentary. Interesting to hear from him after that foot game, sort of saying as well, if there's no sound coming from me, they're in my head. And if my voice is hoarse, then, you know, I'm in their head, and I have to say right now, it doesn't feel like he's had to shout, yet still the rounds are flowing through. With Navi calling another timeout at this stage in the
poslední 2 dny mám nervy na brokovnice. Já mám největší nervy na Stinger a na Spectre.
A number of times now, go up of a scoreline, you know, 11-6, give or take. We saw it against Gentlemates when they played Lotus on this exact same map. They were leading by 5 rounds, but they couldn't close on the defense. The same position that they find themselves in here. Same on Ascent against Foot when we went to the million overtime 48 game.
Proč hraješ na net a tě s tím zabiju nejvíc jako real?
If they win this next round, can it be clean or do Navi have something to respond because they do need to now?
Uší se uděje, kočičko. Uší. Uší. To ale ty jsi tady měla koho, když já jsem byl nemocnej? Nějakýho masivního. Aha, už to nejde? Na povel? OK. OK. No já si myslím, hodná kočička. Jaké roztrhávají. Na 4 hry se ořád v dia 1, no. Pohoda. Bořeš. Zjistíš, jaký to je a pak se zase vrátíš. 50 centiáků bys nechtěl, Extrax, to bys ani nemohl dorážet, kámo, pořádně, prostě to by bylo úplně na píču.
Is looking, but he's just going to dash out of there. Navi not given a thing, and as soon as contact is hit, you know it's 2 players. Smoke goes up, Sociable's there by the door.
Radím se slinou.
And he's going to guard it with his life. It's an in-zone flawless. BBL have their 11th as expected, but in terms of those micro improvements, can they finally show some for us here?
Yeah, and I think as well. One thing that is always massive about Sociable and these multi-frags is how quick he's able to get these ultimates back up. The Armageddon, for instance, it's come back up again.
It's the support network on this round as well. I mean, BBL are just so reactive to what Navi are doing. Feels like they're understanding the directness of this side.
Prostě BBL zase tu tahají 2 Turci. Kámo, já jsem tu přišel, v Team Heretics máš taky 2 Turky a zbytek ostatní. Ty potřebuješ mít 2 Turky a zbytek goated. A to je ten perfektní tým, protože oni to ustřílej a zbytek to jako zahraje správně. A když máš jenom Turky, tak ne.
Leven not given the C space to hold on to yet, but he's going to go straight back in.
I mean, the Nuno theft has lit everyone up, but Leven's just sending it in, and the timing's insane!
I didn't mean it literally, but the shorty's out, and he very nearly found himself a second, converging from both ends. Prophet and Magnum doing their best. BBL still in a strong position, but backing on up. It ain't bulletproof. Prophet dropping, and now a 2-on-2. Kuala Noob trying to move it forwards, but it's Shao instead that'll send the needle in Navi's favor. That's number 7, and that's warning signs for BBL.
I felt a little bit rushed and a little bit egocentric as well. When you see the players like taking the drills that they did on the retake, not necessarily the B main play, but it has to be said, Navi responded very well in the mid-round to get on towards C. The ultimate usage good. Just need to be a little bit more aware of the timings that BBL are trying to take.
A lot of these rounds from Navi being so stop-start as well. You can tell the reason why they want to get investigative. Hero so often a strong suit of how they play these rounds, really valuable lurks. Ever since his rookie year on Fnatic, been so good at doing it.
I think right now we're seeing how Navi need to play this, right? Slow, scaling up, they can't flash and be as explosive as BBL. This is looking very clearly like a B split and straight away Navi go in.
Tension is shown. Angel does have the ult to draw back on, and look, when they get into post, it can be scary. You have so much safety net here, and with Kuala Noob already finding the first, Yumpy going down, that's a lot of your retake util gone.
Someone found his timing, and the sonic sensor did go off. Oh, and well, it looks like Navi are going to have a well clear advantage here as the annihilation goes off. BBL, they've left sociable to try and get something, but Levin, he wants to keep this up in pocket.
It was a quick 2 for 1 because as soon as that first player goes down, the second reeled in for free. No one to untether them, as Angel has a vice grip on this round, as do Navi, and it's the same kind of stuff.
Já chceme to bylo 2-0. Pro BBL.
An 11-6 scoreline, that gap of 5, they are right on the 11th round, right on the brink of greatness. As this team as a whole is, as their story has been this year, ushering in a new era. After 4 years as an organization, finally given something to shout about, the chance to potentially be the ones that represent Turkey on the international stage, no longer in the shadow of their now beaten derby opponents. We see the timeout come through. The question is, what do you say to fix this?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing after the past couple of rounds, and how solo and individual some of these rounds have been. You can totally understand why BBL have called a pause to this, just to talk about things and settle the nerves of the team, right? Because when you're in this position, your own map pick, so close to finishing it out, and you'd already spoken about it before, how much BBL give up their leads when they're in front.
And from the Navi perspective, something so important for them is simply stability. We'd seen those first few series have to be extended to a deciding map for them to have a chance at winning it out, but it's what the players were talking about. Okay, we can 13-0 GX on a map, but then we lose 2-0 against Heretics the next. Then you know, follow that up with this huge Vitality win. But then if you drop to BBL in that opening round and you have to face KC in lowers, then you lose the advantage. All these mental margins that they've been stressing with the performance coach Zuza coming in and bringing a lot of value to that team environment.
No nic, tak jdem. Když se na to podívám, tak jako Navi budou vždycky chodit někam spolu ve 4 a jenom jako se tradovat. Já být BBL, tak jdu prostě vzít space na 2 místech. Když je potkám, tak jdu do píče. Už berou Cčko, to se mi líbí. Jo, tak Magnum, jakoby je mi ho líto tady, kamaráde. A tak Omen hodí paranojku, ne? Nice. Insane. Yeah. Oh, Magnum goes.
Wants to be the thorn in their side, but Levin already has this covered. BBL have moved over. If the long rotation comes in towards C, then it's not a problem. They're set up for that retake.
Towards the spike, Hero can't really protect Koala from this position.
Hero má aimbot skin. Ale Leven, kámo, clearuje nádherně ty úhly, hej.
For what feels like the first time, when BBL get in that position, they lose a couple rounds, timeout comes in, and it's a full reset. In terms of how they approach the round, you've got Leven really pushing the envelope on Sand, getting that op into a dangerous position. Magnum takes a bit of damage through the tree, but matters not, he gets his double. One more here from Prophet. I'm not too sure what Ruxik was planning there with the jump peak wide. Maybe just for the trade, but even then, Prophet with barely a bullet to his name gets out. So it all comes down to this. Finally, we see the op duel on both sides. Koala bringing it to the attack. Sand is where it goes down. Can the Canadian come out on top? Yes, he can.
Brilliant entry, and he's away so quick on the operator. Look at the players playing within the smoke, looking to destroy the drone and play it in front. A little bit aggressive.
Jen viděl to vypou, jak má Koala, že tak Cčko, tak říkám, Magnum! The GOAT? Ne, mě ho tam úplně líto.
Into the mud and the mesh where it lands. That'd be hitting a stun. You can't quite capitalize on it though. Hero step into salvos. Stepping out of dodge with an extra kill to his name. And that's the round for Navi.
Still close between these two. A lot of unlucky timings, and I think as well Kualanub with this operator on the attack. He was saying in the Navi post-split one regular season roundup that he wanted to do everything that he was doing on Emea, right? Talking about how he was up and talking about
Těžko, když se šel schovat, kdyby šel směrem třeba do sajtu, zkusit ještě vyfajtit tree nebo něco, nebo naběh do té kejčky, tak by aspoň jako měl ještě šanci se bránit, no tady byl už úplně mého líto byl. Ale to je hindsight, veď? Zahrál to jak pán. Spíš divím, že ho ani neklírnul Koala s tou ulti.
But still the spike is outside of C. Posturing towards Sand. Even waiting for it's one player to walk in, it's the lurk of Hero, and when he falls, Navi have struggled to maintain that map pressure. BBL could have them exactly where they need him. He takes this too early.
Spike's heading towards A. This could be the wrong decision for Navi.
Walk straight into it, there's a trap up there as well. Magnum has been good for more than the sum of his parts so far. When Leven pulls the trigger. Navi not yet given the shakedown. It's 4 players in lobby now that Leven faces up against, and Angel wins it this time. But
dobrý trade.
Drops back 30 seconds now, and they're doubling back.
Japy dostane bídu teď. Nebo je?
He's towards C.
He was. All it was is just a clear close. They're going in now with what, 15 seconds or so once you hit the neck of the site. Prophet dealing further damage. Forced to give it up for the retake. BBL have tools, but as this round has dragged on, look what Navi have used up.
Yeah, this is gonna get far too.
Ten hit, co mu dal. Ten hit, co mu dal tím Guardianem, dle mě tomu Herovi, tak to udělalo to, že chcípnul na první ten plasek. On dle mě ho hitlo. Tak crazy. Jako insane utility usage, no. Abilities don't kill. Musí hrát Breach, kámo ve Volturu je úplně broken. Guardian, však měl Guardian, ne? Breach. To jsem píča. Would you understand beauty of the beast?
Any other Finnish songs you guys would like me to sing?
No, I want from you silent song.
Silence. Sound of silence.
you know this song? Shut up, shut up, shut up. How is it called?
Mu tam dal bídu. Hele, Gabriel zase na obrazovce. No. Co jsi ty?
Red Bull gives you wings. I don't know where you've been sold, but I'd be insane not to play my role. Yeah, I know I can break a fall. This takes too long. If I can say one thing, just know that I got a hand that I can lend you, and it don't matter what.
No, it's fracture time. Yes. Předsázky. Chat, kdo tady lurkuje a nepíšete se mnou do chatu a nepovídáte si se mnou, tak mi aspoň napište double, ať vím, že tady jste. A můžu vám rozdat nějaký prostě věci do soutěže, ať vím, kdo tu je. Fracture. Asi jo. Prostě lurk. Ahoj všem. Řekl, co jsem měl napsat, jo? Napsal jsi to W jak pán.
Y'all sit back and watch me speak. About to take over your screen. Talking bulls in 93. Talking mom, I'm on TV. Y'all know all I do is me. All I do is me.
Plus 8. Aha.
Y'all sit back and all I know my money green. About to snap and make a scene. My cup off and make
Hero je Turek, to jsem skoro třeba nevěděl. Proto má takovej aim, už to chápu. Čau, insane. Chceš klip? Kámo, Emily tu není vlastně, já to mám nechat na ranked. Ale připomeňte mi pak jakoby, že to musím Milimu nějak vysvětlit. Tady pípec jsem asi starý kluk je.
In a very short space of time, okay? This is where you start bringing it. This is where you bring the energy, okay? This is where things are going to get really, really messy. It's not going to be perfect Valorant. We're not going to play a perfect map anytime between now and the end of the weekend, or any time between now and the time we arrive in Toronto, okay? Accept that, remember that, and get the job done.
And they surely did get the job done. BBL manages to close their map pick against Navi. And I would say, Minnie, were you big on motivational speeches before going into maps?
What do you think?
No.
No, my job was to help Oster when we needed one. And then I'd just watch him do it, you know what I mean? No, I think that like I would be fairly... I would never use the phrase, we don't expect perfect Valorant here, because I think I'm the
That goes very against
my philosophy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love that Masters Toronto has been mentioned in the warm-up. Like,
it was like before we get to Masters Toronto being like, we
Ale
already have our tickets, everybody got their
Niku, to není
visa.
tak složitý. Jako, já jsem si říkal, jestli jsi fakt tak starý, že jsi dal jakoby nick do názvu jako svýho číslo, že jsi narodil do svýho nicku, víš?
Yeah, we're seeing here some of the results at the bottom of the screen. One of the topics that we were highlighting throughout the match with the small toasty with a small sign there is about BBL and their win percentage on those pistol rounds. This is the first time in the entire split that they do not win at least one of those pistols. Still, maybe they managed to close out the map.
Yeah, I think you got to kind of turn this on Navi a little bit and say, when you win 2 pistols in a map, it's a little bit embarrassing when you don't make the map look even competitive on some level. Like, I think it was a fairly one-sided affair, this one.
What do you think, Billy, that it was not only one-sided, what do you think that Navi was lacking to go through the pistol? You know, you have those rounds on the board. What happened on those rifle rounds that...
Mně se líbí ten Maniak je tam prostě jenom vole, tím nakládá. Když prostě to fakt špatný, tak prostě to fakt špatně.
Started slipping away from them, which when they're running a double sentinel, they know that they need to guarantee those rounds when, sorry, there's a flag, when they're starting on that defense. So yeah, it just kind of started to slip away from them. You see them take those timeouts as well and not really being able to do anything off of the back of them. BBL were kind of aware of what Navi were trying to achieve off the back of those timeouts. So yeah, I mean, all in all, just really great prep from BBL.
Yeah, and when we looked at that graphic that showed the plants, Navi managed to plant on almost all of the rounds. It was actually the retakes, sorry, the other way around. BBL were managing to get the spike down and work very well to prevent Navi from working on those retakes. One of the people that was definitely a highlight for the side of BBL is Sociable. The 29-year-old rookie, Billy, he was brilliant this
Yeah, I actually had to text Cairo during that map because he said 28. I was like, Cairo, he's 29, he's not 28.
Tak týpkovi je 29 dokonce.
Was an absolute delight to watch during this. I think
29, kámo. Mně teď bylo 25, mám ještě 4 roky a týpek je... Týpek, když vyšel Valorant, jakož Valorant má teď 5 let, tak týpkovi bylo 24, když vyšel Valorant. Chápeš? Teď je mu 29. A hraje svůj první season ve VCT. Kam bych pospíchal more.
Time and time again, it was very clearly a sort of win condition for BBL in these post-plant rounds. So yeah, I think that he's just done so well.
Yeah, 20 and 12, not bad.
Yeah, and I think he's very different to when we see Turkish players coming in. We always expect, you know,
tak no, hoď to se dám jako to nevadí, kámo.
But he also has, you know, a kind of mature, calm presence, which might be to do with a little bit. I hate the fact that we got to kind of tie it to his age.
Let's count that storyline. Let's just cut it. He is 19 from now on.
He's 19, yeah.
Yes.
But he plays like he has that experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that this is also one of the situations that I feel we can turn also on Navi, right? Like, he gets a 4K, he gets a clutch, but how does he end up in that situation to begin with, right? Also, one of the players that we have to highlight, we saw it in the server, the head-to-head between the two duelists was definitely one of the things that you should worry, whether you're on Navi or in BBL, but Levin was set up time and time again so beautifully, Billy.
Yeah, I think the game plan with Levin is just always how uncomfortable can we make the other team, and like you say, he's always set up by the rest of the team. It's very clear that their sort of game plan is to thrive in that chaos, and chaos is something that they try and pursue quite a few rounds, right? So yeah, I think that Levin, although he's not been performing perhaps at the level we would expect of him, I think he had a great showing on this first map.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, the switch that BBL had overall to switch him to that Jet, it's just time and time again just working. Like, I think Euro is a better agent than Jet, but when Levin is turning around the team in a way that makes them look like they are absolutely a team that can go to Toronto, I think that's great. And coming up, I'm wondering if we can see that on other maps too.
Did you agree with that, finding that balance, right, between this agent is good and might make us look better, like on paper, this composition should be better over this one, but then when you balance it out with the comfort of the players, do you agree with this kind of
Well, I was talking, Pau in, like, passing told me that
myslím, že jo. Buď z tohohle nebo z toho dalšího zápasu.
At global events, like, you have to min-max everywhere you can and optimize. Whereas BBL aren't quite at that level yet. So I think that for them to play into the comfort's better at this moment. But if we're seeing a BBL where they're pushing deeper into tournaments, the Jet might end up capping them at a certain point.
Do you agree?
I think the thing is, I understand that it's a comfortability thing, but I don't even think like Levin has performed bad on other agents. Like I think of his Yoru, and the first thing that comes to mind is that round on Abyss where he's against Fnatic and pushes down mid. Like I think everyone has that round in the back of their mind from kickoff. Of course, this was like one of the first times that we saw Levin with him coming into VCT this year. So I don't know if it's a question of comfortability. I know that they've kind of said that this might be the case for just now, but I still think that he can play other agents as well. I don't think he's limited just on the Jet.
Oh, definitely something that we need to talk about, because now we're moving on to Fracture, which was Navi's pick, and maybe meaning one of the reasons why Navi decided to go to this Fracture instead of, for example, something like Icebox, might be that we at least have not seen BBL running the same shenanigans we've put in the Jet everywhere in this map so far.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out, because the map pool is kind of not Jet focused.
To asi jako, že tě to strašně baví dneska. Já se soustředím, sorry. Poslouchám je a soustředím se na to, co říkají. Ještě mi není úplně nelíbí, takže nejsem úplně elektrický, ale fokusu. Sorry, kód. 13 mikinu mi horko, jdu na vecko a pak jdu na to.
Maybe if they're playing around with the operator, which we did get a kind of glimpse at, but for me, that is even more of an interesting head-to-head because we know that Koala Noob dominates on the operator, so I think that will be a nice one to see.
I love the head-to-head that we were seeing between the two. Like at the beginning of every round, when you see them at the same side, it's like, oh, who's going to get it?
It was that C round where Koala Noob just jumped and beats with the op, and instantly Levin is taken away. So yeah, that's a head-to-head that I'm looking forward to, looking ahead at Fracture.
But we need to focus, right, on Navi. Right now, they're one map down. Now they move onto their map pick, but they have not been very successful at it lately.
No, but when I watched back the VODs and kind of heard Angel apologize, I believe it was, to Koala for his calling in the last time they played Fracture, sending in Koala to his death instantly a lot of the rounds, and it did look a lot like that. Like Angel, the claim is thinks he's the best on Fracture at his calling, but that last game wasn't great. I think overall, historically, he's been a very solid Fracture caller, and I think today it won't look like it did against Giant X.
Did you like his deadlock on Lotus? He went 1-6 in opening duels. Jack, how many giveaways have you done already? Because yeah, it's Angel. You know, he's gonna die first sometimes.
No.
Okay. That's very quick.
No, but the thing is, like, I think he had the right kind of ideas. I think it was that very first pistol round I had noticed that he bought that deadlock wall on his pistol, and I was like, okay, like, he's going down, he's blocking off A space. Like, you could see the ideas that he was trying to have. It's just that, yeah, in those kind of kill engagements, it just wasn't always going in his favor, but...
I mean, Lotus is just not that map. I think they've lost now 7 in a row and played 5 different comps over those last 7.
And which one did you hate the most? Do you have them there?
I don't have, well, no, I don't have them there. I only have comps from this. Honestly, they're probably all pretty even.
Okay,
No. The one I hate the most was when I had to, my first ever cast. I'm watching Navi KC, and they ran like Teo Sage.
Yeah,
like,
the one where I lost my
Lauren's
mind.
like, so what do you think of this comp mini? I'm like, I hate it because I know my first time casting, I got to work this out whilst I'm casting. I'm clearly not comfortable at all. Like, I don't know what's going on. Navi, just give me an easy one, please. But they never do.
Do you remember the last one that you liked?
That's a tough question.
In this meta, I like Teo a lot, and they don't play that much of Teo.
I mean, this one was
it's only on a couple
terrible,
maps.
no? I like this one with the.
I don't like double 70 though.
You don't?
No, I'm a Viper believer.
Oh yeah, forgot you.
But yeah, going on to like
gamble.
Fracture Ascent, I think that Navi are still in the series. Like, I had them losing Lotus.
Úplně na random, abyste gamblovali random prostě. Úplně pro nic.
Yeah, just sharing some information with you guys. Players are currently experiencing.
A kdo se první do gambly na 100 milionů pointů, ať něco dostane. Nějaký issues zase.
Just bear with us in this one. Yes, we know. We suffer through it as well, you know, but we are in this together, just as High School Musical once taught us very well. Billy, looking into Fracture, do you like the what we can expect from Navi, what we've seen in the past? As we've seen, Navi has picked onto this map the last couple of times that they've played it, but they have not won it. What do you think are the saving graces for them?
Just my friend, ahoy.
Angel needs to live up to his word and actually IGL in the way that he says he would. You know, making a claim like that, I would like to see them finally win this. And honestly, I'm still thinking about the Ascent. I would like to see us go all the way to Ascent. You know, both of these teams are fighting for that qualification match to qualify to Masters Toronto. So yeah, I want to see him IGL the life out of this game. game. And I think as well, the composition that they were running on Fracture, it's not a bad composition. It is really good. Like Minnie said, you know,
Oni tam normálně hrajou, chápeš?
Is that something they decide to implement in Fracture? We have seen it come out from a couple of teams. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see, do they switch that fade out that Angel usually plays, and does he jump onto the Tejo perhaps?
I think they're just going to keep it the same. I think that Angel.
Did you think it's a bit vanilla for them?
It is a bit vanilla. I almost like it, which means that it's
you
not.
You put a Viper in and it's.
No, not on this map. No, Viper on Lotus, I meant. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
On this map specifically.
You don't like Viper on Fracture?
Teď tu o coachingu za VCP, radši to je jasný. Jasný. Stačí, jestli jsi schopný mi to streamovat na Discord, tak hraješ a to je všechno, co potřebuji.
What you have to take out is a Sentinel, which you don't want to do, because it's a map where you need a Sentinel. So yeah, I think that their attack sites haven't been amazing looking back, like at the stats of it, but I think that. You know, I do trust.
Nebo mi nejlíp, nebo mi třeba nahrát hru, jak hraješ, víš co, celý ranked prostě a to je jasný. Pro PlayStation 1. To by měl každý vypko, no. Teď pijte vodu, všichni drink water, všichni go drink water. Teď jedničku, kdo se půjdete napít. A kdo ne, tak abyste sáli pele.
Segment for later maybe too that we could touch on for the Fnatic Foot game. Like Navi just.
Já jsem PlayStation King.
Yeah, so Navi are just gonna flood between the sites, and if BBR have a good game plan where they kind of bait Navi to flood those sites and then just fake it, like they could have some open sites potentially.
I mean, we praised BBL's prep, like going into that Lotus, so I think that this is something that they'll probably have gone back and watched and be prepared for. And I do agree with you. I think that last time we watched Navi play Fracture, a lot of the time it was Hero not being a super strong site anchor for Navi, and was getting punished very, very quickly and very, very easily. And I think with BBL's sort of explosive style, that's going to be really difficult for Hero to take on. He might get
záleží na teplotě, ano. A na tom, jak moc máš protáhlý trubky. Tam už byl ten OK, tak to já pak asi jen zapnu, to bude free nějak. A když dneska dostanu 10 daily subs, tak vám zařídím dneska gamble. Ještě dneska na večerní stream bude gamble. Vím si to jako dárek pro kamští, v pohodě, a na klid. Víte co, 5 daily subs, ať jsem nás hodnej.
And I think in this meta it's kind of not acceptable to be trying to hard hold every single time. Breach and Tail doesn't allow you to do that. So
Gamba si všim dobře. Já i on chycený hned.
I don't expect them to. They seem to have a style that they like and just stick to it.
I love the fact that we're bringing Hero into the conversation. He did not have a brilliant performance on map 1, and at least I feel like, yes, last week we saw Rockstate having this amazing performance on Haven and whatnot, but I really feel like we have had this narrative in the past where the days that Hero has the day, it made such a big difference, Billy.
I think this happens with quite a few of the Navi players, as soon as
a player is offline, no, já to taky myslím, OK?
Because then you're having to rely on Hero performances. Didn't mean the pun there, but like you're having to rely
on streamuju přímo přes OBS, to je real, takže už mi to asi neprve, nevím.
You're having maybe one or two players that's just not feeling it that day and is going to cost you a win and moving on in playoffs and having to drop into the lower bracket on the first day. No one wants to have to do that.
Yeah, and I think if we cast our minds back to Navi building this roster, like they had some of the early picks to build this roster. They built a team that, on paper, has individuals that are supposed to be there. So it shouldn't be surprising to me that there are players who can take over games, but it is a little bit surprising at times, potentially, that we see them go missing sometimes, because these were like essentially the first draft picks.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I think many people many teams wanted to get Hero, and he trialed for a bunch of them. But players are continuing to experience client issues loading into the game. League officials are working on getting us into the game as soon as possible. But while we wait to get ready, we're going to go to a break, but we'll see you right after this.
The world from the eye of the Horus. If you Alexander the Great, then I am the Porus. Coming straight from the mud like I am a lotus. So hatiyon ka bal.
Zase Techpos, kámo, já se zblázím.
जिससे मैं लड़ूं तुम लोगों से ऐसे ना डरूं करूं मैं जिससे मैं तरुण पानी पे चलूं मैं जिससे मैं वरुण चाहे मैं यूं या मरूं जो करना चाहूं मैं वही तो करूं आता है तू ना करीब तू बेटी चीप जब तक कटे ना तेरी ये जीप मेरा belief.
Řekněte mi, až budou hrát. Zatím za ním porazit bossa. Oni mají problém s klientem nějaký, no. Emea prostě. Ještě se mi toho bosse nepodařilo porazit, protože po téhle phase 1 je phase 2, kde instakill mechanika, když ji jenom lehce posereš. Tady by mě jakoby zabil na 2 ty skoky, takže musím vždycky dodgenout, ale tam tě jakoby zabije instantně, pokud to dosereš. Emea Watchparty. Pro něj nejvíc easy job je streamovat Watchparty, viď. On streamuje vždycky playoff potom. Takhle to tam fandí ještě Koalovi, že jo, co je z Ameriky. Už se hraje hovno.
Let's go back into Fracture. Let's jump straight ahead onto Agent.
Oni mají furt jetku.
Surprises on the side of Navi, Billy.
Yeah, Navi decided to just stick with what they know on Fracture. Interesting to see actually that they've just decided to go with no changes considering the results that they've had. But it's actually Profect moving over onto that Brim. I mean, okay, I don't think we've seen Profect play a Brim whatsoever this stage so far.
I think we have.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not something that we see him on frequently. And then Levin, again, we talk about comfortability. They are just deciding to stick with that comfortability. He's no longer going to be playing that Yoru.
Yeah, I think that leaning into the jet, like if you're already playing Yoru on this map, a map that's traditionally the Raze Neon map, I think switching to that jet makes sense here. He's clearly comfortable on all other maps right now playing it, and so I have no doubts he'll be comfortable here too.
What do you make also of the from Astra to Brimstone real quick?
I think that Brimstone is just easier to play, a bit better. The post plant is better.
But you're not Profect, you know? anyway, Mini, enough from us. Let's toss this over to our casters to see what happens on Fracture. Over to you, Haz and Cairo.
Thanks, guys. Look, I completely agree with what was said there. You're talking about an agent for Profect, still in his rookie year, of course, but you look at him having his highest ACS output on Omen and Viper, moving to something a little less micro-heavy.
Yeah, and I think as well, when you look at Brimstone, he's played it 3 times in his career.
Yeah.
First time in VCT EMEA, so looking forward to see what Profect brings out here.
11 comfort, a word we mention often, already demonstrating how deadly that jet can be on Lotus. But now diving into Fracture, all focus on Navi, this being their map pick and a chance to turn things around. Current records doesn't read the best for them as they are yet to record a win here. However, Cairo, I have to say, most of that does just spin back to how poor the attack was.
Tak chat, jednička pro Navi, dvojka pro BBL.
Pick 28% of the time this year, but as for Navi on the attack, a lot more passive, waiting to see what BBL do on the defense. When you think to the last time they played it, they were very proactive and aggressive.
Kind of slow play that you expect from an Angel-led side, and Jumpy already one map up in this clash of the captains.
Mě hned musí vědět, že tam je jetka a že tam je nějaký setup, kámo, protože jsi šerif. On vždycky hraje šerif.
And to call to what we were saying about this attack side as well, Navi looking for their third consecutive pistol in this series so far would be a huge addition considering the fact they only picked up 3 total rounds of the 10 they played on the attack against GX.
Has Hero heard about the players taking that orb? Should know that the players are up close. Angel and Hero combine, lovely. And at the same time, that A side, that's where the spike is going to go down. Easy enough, nice and open. I think BBL have a massive task on their hands.
Absolutely, and it's only going to widen that gap if Angel was able to find that next kill towards spawn side as BBL are looking to converge, as they had done from both mains. Profek does get one. You need a whole lot more. So much space to be covered, and you can even see the reposition from Shao towards Dish just to make this more difficult. Time bought through the utility. Navi with the pistol, all but confirmed.
The fact that Shao still has 2 flashes in pocket to make it into the next round. I mean, it's menial stuff, but BBL have no time whatsoever. It's all about getting some extra orbs here. At the same time, they're going to get none, and Navi, as you have said, get their 3rd consecutive pistol round.
Yeah, I mean, what a crazy way
if
BBL do end up walking out of this series with the win going to the qualification game, but then their pistol stat is mudded at the exact same time.
Well, I mean, it's already muddied because there's only like, what, if there's going to be 3 more pistol rounds, they're either going to end up with 50% or less.
I mean, look, a statistic that high, you can never keep it up. It's just not possible. There's always,
like he was saying.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you get to this stage in the competition, in playoffs, with all of that tape behind you, how can you find a way to make things different? I mean, BBL, as we mentioned before, the credit for them on their pistols was that they were constantly changing what the setup looked like to how they'd played before.
When you look at this round, this is something similar to what we saw on the Anti-Eco last time round on the attack side for Navi, and they walked straight into the trap. And this time, it looks like they're not.
Yeah, can't call it too soon. Still a minute left to go, and I don't expect Navi to hit the site until we've burned at least another 30 seconds or so. Rapidly approaching A, 3 players from Dish. BBL at times have prioritized this space, but on this round it's just Jumpy stun out.
Přepadením ve sprše, chápeš?
He's satcheled away from the ledge. Classic in hand, Hero wins the pistol duel, and so that should be the Navi second. They're going to get this into post comfortably. Again, we talk about keeping it clean.
And BBL, at the same time on the re-entry, have decided to put 1 towards every lane, the exception being that CT entry, to see what the response is from Navi. Well, I've saw Angel, Magnum and Profek in A main, but you look towards Levin, taking his time coming back in. I think it's just all about exits here for BBL.
Exactly. Right now, closest player to an ult is Profek, but even then, beyond halfway gone, as the spike is going to chime all the way down. In terms of Navi, I mean, yeah, they're not too built up either, except for Angel and Hero, and both of them are going to get an ult point. That's on their own death. Levin not giving anything away. The fact this ends 3v3, I'd say BBL are pretty damn happy with that one.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, so are Navi. They only lost 2 of the pistol players, so
sure.
3 of those rifles get kept into the
next round.
That's the benefits of their buy.
Když nemají Teja, tak kámo, jakoby BBL si vždycky můžou vzít A, když budou chtít úplně po každý.
Because of what Navi have coming into this one.
They have struggled with their bonus rounds so far.
Už mě zajímá, co budou vařit.
Where it looks like they're going to be heading into Magnum's utility a lot of the time. On the Cypher, those traps are just to try and contain players so that you can get a quicker flank in, push the envelope limit test A main, as you can already see Levin embedding himself in the space.
Já ani nepoužili žádnou util, protože v náčku se nic neděje.
Looking to split push B, but it's through the underpass that they take the long road round. They do have the camera watching topside. It's a slow setup.
You should expect that, right? It's Fracture. Just need to be careful of the position.
Je, kámo, chudák Magnum, ten dostane bridge stun a Ryska na něj naletí. Vypadá celkem board, SLEDUJ. Teď už druhý člověk, co mi to řekne. To já se soustředím. A to mám říct.
Now we need
Co
to
to
start seeing
říct?
those rotations coming through. Jumpy should be the first of those players. Magnum will be caught in the tower, but still Navi are yet to make their move.
Pojďme.
Hop.
Hop.
Who's been so good in this series so far, has done so well.
Nice to see GOAT.
And he's bumping the Navi utility.
And it's just staggered in the
Ty vole. GOAT.
of Hero as the next player up from the rope gets cut loose. Shao walks away with a couple, but it's all
Martinos. Jí za 26 měsíců rýsá, bro. Den před narostkama jsem si užil narostky taky a narostky večer jsem pak prozvracel až do neděle, kámo, celý večer, sobotu od půlnoci mi nebylo dobře, až třeba do 4 odpoledne. Jsem měl otravu jídlem, špatný burger. Co ty, jak se máš? Jsem tě viděl s nějakou kundičkou? On, kanadský boy. Musíš tam zařídit nějaký místo, kam můžu jít, že v Kanadě, kde bych měl bydlet třeba 2 měsíce, aby tam byl dobrý internet. Když bych si zařídil, já bych na 2 měsíce tam vypadnul hrát Valorant. Když najít nějakou bohatou hodinku.
See if there's any reaction off it, as that's what you expect from BBL. Very protocol heavy at the best of times, so as soon as he breaks it, drops back with the melee, gets the orb on board. Just 1 away from the Nightfall now.
Teď 1 z 5 daily subs, viděl, co jsem řekl, že za... když bude 5 daily subs. Kážu prde. No přesně, já jsem týden nejedl, sádge. Yeah. Byl jsem živo sám, brácho, jak je? Ten minima vandal je konec.
And like you say, there is plenty of stall behind this. Profek queued up in the site, supporting Magnum there as well, and arriving with impeccable timing.
Že nepíš, to s tím burgerem nevěřím ani. Kdyby vím, že nepíš, ty vole, kdyby vím, že nepíš, je to s tím burgerem nevěřím ani. Nepíš.
Like the desk was talking about it, many in particular, about how Angel thinks he's one of the best callers on Fracture, and I understand that historically maybe that's the case, but I feel as if we're now starting to get into a new era of Valorant, and
kdybys nevěděl, že nepiju, ne?
Glad that you mentioned that as well as we head into the Navi eco, because that's what this new era is all about, right? The aim, the long-term goal is to be making global events again with the investments made. Koala, one of them, straight into the B site here. Magnum again is just trying to disrespect the offensive line and get up in their face.
Magnum!
It's a quick triple from Magnum, and they'll make it a quad before the round ends. In zone flawless for BBL.
Yeah,
Nuts play. Just tam schoval.
You can hear the fans. The fact that Magnum is getting so much value from his timings, and you'd expect that from a player of his veterancy.
It's a lightning fast round from Magnum. Someone who, as the ex-in-game leader of KC, obviously took them to Masters Madrid last year. His final game for the club against Hero in the knockout round of Stage 2. Straight into the next gun round. There's barely a moment to even think about what it is that we've just seen, and Levin's op is right back out. A shot missed.
Yeah! On neměl svůj minimaskin. Magnum další, ne?
He started brilliantly, and he's got all the information that his team needs.
still on this lurk, trying to group up with the rest of his team now. Many times we've seen Navi attempt to execute out of dish without the necessary support to make it a success. Auto strike.
Co dál?
Hero just steps to the side of it, and with Profek gone, he needs to take the main space and the hat.
Co dál, kámo? On kdyby nemusel pospíchat kvůli té ulti, jinak je to úplně jiný. Co dělá ten Angel, ty vole? Tak tohle bude Cypher Bet, tahle hra, no. Budou tedy pustní a rodinu, takže je to jasně už. Upsal si se ďáblovi, jaj. Hezky. Tak doufám, že jsi šťastný, bro, ale doufám, že mají velký barák. Doufám, že jsi happy.
Absolutely. You're also seeing the value of the Brim in the comp, the stopping power that Profek has. Yeah, on a lot of these executes as well.
And I think as well, that's the big thing about the change compared to the Astra, right? Is these smokes last so much longer.
Back out already revealed. Staying on the line as the Prowler's broken for him the first and second time, but he still wants to go for it. Angel once more finds his way into the feed early doors and staying active. They look to push up behind the smoke, but there is a sociable, a snake in the grass, playing main, but cleared diligently by Hero.
Oh my god. To se mi nelíbí vůbec.
Navi set in motion by their young superstar in the making. And with Angel, many years his superior, finding the round that put Navi in front.
Well, BBL have opted to go for a more European roster. I think sometimes when you see the way that they play, it can be very Turkish in nature, right? A lot of individualistic ideas, trying to be aggressive, get in your opponent's face. I mean, that last round, for instance, right? I mean, Sociable's trying to hide in the corner, then you get a player trying to trade him out. And then from there on, it's just a domino effect, right? As BBL begin to topple. Still close though. Now Navi only go one round ahead, but they have ultimates to push themselves on further and get a little bit of momentum now on this attack side.
Exactly, and I think to just wrap up that conversation as well, in terms of this new era of Navi, the difference between it, you're seeing Hero, you're seeing Angel. Fun stat for you. Angel played his first recorded official tournament just 44 days after Hero was born. Two decades of FPS experience. He's going to hate that one. But I have to say, yeah, you look back to the rosters he's been a part of, FPX, always an international contender. That's the expectation that they had coming into partnerships, but we are yet to see it since all the way back from that first or last chance qualifier, I should say, of the era.
And I like how you speak about expectations for Navi, right? The expectation for them to be making international events, which they haven't been in the past couple of years, but for
tak mezi náma nemají se špatně, mají pár nemovitostí, rodiče má vlastní byt v Brně. Jaj. Kalkuluj takhle. Hezky. Tak kámo, jípe dá, pať pecky.
Sue's gonna hate you. She's watchpartying, I'm pretty sure.
Sorry, Sue.
A potřebuji někoho, kdo žije v Americe nebo někde takhle, prostě chápeš, v té Kanadě tam. A má tam barák nebo něco. Protože kdybych tam měl platit, kámo, 3 měsíce někde, Airbnb, tak bych cítnul.
Looking the more likely to do so. Navi have responded well on their map pick of Fracture, and with 60 seconds for either side coming into the gun round, you're starting to look at some of the ults available. One of them, the Blades. It's a very quick start towards Bridge BBL.
Říkáme se trepak, tak už já štělím, díky bro. Už repo. Já potom na zápase chat půjdu off, dělat vám video a pak večer dám ještě rankedy nějak. Třeba po té hře, jak dohraju Fnatic.
And you look towards the players on the map, 8 of them, or sorry, 7 are towards this A side, and one of them is Magnum.
Magnum dostane tak prosponovanou bíru.
Because of what we've seen in these previous
Jen
rounds,
a jsem mrtvý.
always good for at least 2 kills. That's been the story since Lotus.
Nebo ho vyletí koala, no. Jumpy, goat. Escape, NT. Nice, dobrý trade, ale kámo docela.
BBL focusing on holding the sand space and with the ult in play and Levin still keeping his position in dish.
Angel
goes down as collateral on the way out.
And both players are stuck out towards main.
On to hodně bude obíhat, ty vole hero. Oni ho slyší, on ho tady slyšel, tady ho slyšel. Nice. Nice.
So BBL immediately respond, and all of that came through the timeout and the proactivity that they bring from the barrier drop.
Yeah, and that's absolutely massive. Rolling Thunder used as well from Shao. That's a great entry from Koala.
Čo nemohl nic, chudák. To udělal Angel, ne? Dětku. Dětku, vole.
They'll still be able to feel the vibrations on the stage. Jumpy loving life. As the op has come out for Levin, credit saved with only the knives used previously. Koala quick to close down on the A space, but no player main. The setup for the site hold. Prophet big jewel, but goes down to Hero.
Právě no. Oh, Magnum! Právě no. Potřebuji tam třeba někoho od někoho známýho nebo něco. Zamíň, víš co? Přes nějakého půlku nebo něco a... Bych tam pak potřeboval zařídit komp. Potřebuji tam byl dobrý internet a měl jsem tam místnost pro sebe, no. Klidně nějakou garáž, kde můžu křičet, chápeš, je mi to jedno. Ale jako potřebuji najít něco, no. Bylo insane. Chudák.
And Sociable needs to try and ferry out the operator, but will not be given the chance as Hero cuts him out. Navi keep their advantage.
Ale dla mě na ataku to bude bolet pro Navi.
Quickly turned into a one-round game. This was a huge duel, a deciding one there that you saw on Dish. Hero's been such a point of consistency. The cypher on either side as Magnum gets a couple in main, but the big decision for me on the round made by Navi is the fact that Koala is disciplined enough to keep his utility, backtrack from sand, support the rest of the team main, and we do see a more cohesive look as they move into post plant.
I think that's the big thing, right? Is Koala might not be getting value in terms of those kills, but he's certainly getting it in terms of the space. Setting up his team. VÍCE needs to be careful.
Hello.
Out
of left field, Sheriff gets value, Prophet another, no upgrades.
To bych nešel pro další
looks against it, but with bodies dropped in arcade, there are upgrades to be had. Navi are going to start searching through Hero, but he has to be careful here.
Sociable switched up though, he's the one coming from main.
And in saying that, Hero's actually just completely looked towards Canteen. The players on site are caught. There is a crossfire to help support, but he's a little too far out of play. Finally, Hero arrives again and has the info, but Navi are down a man.
Rook's playing within the smoke as well. The players on site, BBL are closing in. Very close. Rook's caught them all, and BBL come back into this.
I said it was a one-round game, but I didn't mean on the eco. Again, BBL find a way to do it. It's a huge win for them. A pace safe card thrifty, in fact. And with the scoreline at 5-5 right now, I know looking at the compositions, you only have that slight difference of initiators, but the thought on my mind is, how many more rounds do Navi need to carry into this second half?
I mean, that is the question that we'll be asking ourselves in a long while before we get the answer. Navi...
Come on.
Time out, as that one was a very tough loss.
In terms of what BBL do well, It's just the one rogue rifle brought up. You put immediate pressure on, you get aggressive.
Susanek, jaké brácho?
The rest of the team, given the lifeblood that they so desperately needed.
I think for the next couple of rounds as well, you got to be thinking about
krásně,
the game
hezky.
plan for Navi and where they want to go, right? They have been very slow at the start. They've started to
já si dám jednu rychlou točku. Jdu pro sedmičky, pojď. Jaj. Znova. Sedmičky padnou, kamaráde. Aha. Aha. Jak se máš ty? Pohoda.
This round so important for Navi to stay in the latter end of this half. It's the penultimate one.
It's also the economy where it could go either way.
Exactly. The op has been regenerated in Levin's hands. Looking to let loose towards Dish. With how slow Navi have been in some of these rounds, you're wondering.
Tak já jsem to úplně věděl, protože si tam Jampy hrál, vole, s kabelem od myši, že mu něco nefunguje. To za gamble bednu jsem dostal. Slotík.
I'll give you that, mate.
All good. Invisible barrier, Levin just.
Nemáš malý automatík, to si piješ, koukej. Pro tebe dám třešničky. Jaj.
Enough time to talk about it as the round, I'm being told, is now live.
Again, no, this is not slow at all. This is going to be quick towards arcade and sociable.
Když mám tlaky in-game, tak tady uvařím.
And Levin's still stationary, as BBL don't know if this is a full commitment towards B or not, but you can already see that proactivity coming in towards the main side instead in the form of Magnum and Profect to partner.
To je nejlepší věc, co můžeš dostat, viď? Gamer Zandala.
Oh, you thought for a second he was going to be getting the second. At the same time, you speak of proactivity. Kuala is going and searching of that trade onto Profect, and Levin all the way on that bridge side. And Profect loses out on that duel. Spike was under. Now you look to Levin.
Still closing in with the op in hand and has the cross.
Likes the first duel. Excellently. Now, 2v2. Where does Navi go? Onto the B site, that's where they want to plan for. And on top of that, you have Breach and Brim, which is excellent for the post plan.
Duly noted. It's a good position that they plant from because you get value from the aftershock as well as the molly here. So long as there's a surface to send it through.
Yampy needs to be careful because both players can challenge him.
It's concerns of his own. Stun left side. Peek to come in from his right. Rooksik down.
Oh, počkej.
Levin swinging in mid-air. And Rooksik's molly, this is going to deny Yampy getting on site.
Yampy's just disrespected it and walked right through. First couple bullets going the way of Rooksik. But trading places Yampy on site, half stick.
This is going to get close.
Goes down to the wire, but Yampy
holding
his nerve. Rooksik calls his bluff. Navi do get to 6, but not without tribulation.
That get far too close for comfort. Size in the arena from the BBL fans. Just trade central, and for a minute there, honestly, like I feel as if this duel right here, where Profect just misses out on getting his own, could have been the decider in the round. And Levin trying to connect with Yampy, and Yampy just being 1 or 2 seconds too late.
That from Rooksik.
He knows you're low. Nice.
It was just so fundamentally well played. I think, you know, BBL were looking for that opening. Levin's going to do it again here. The Prowler's not found him. What? How on earth does he step to the side of that one? Op kill picked up, Armageddon coming in, Koala safe from it for now. The spike is heading A, and so are the rest of Navi. BBL still thinking that this is the site on the left-hand side of the map.
With them Burn and Angel Navi to get that space on A, is it worth it? Realistically, Yampy's here, and he'll be able to give the information to the rest of the team. In terms of how they get back into this one, it's going to be pretty tough because Navi's had all the time in the world to set up this post plan.
Caged off towards Rafters.
Outsend. Pushing new main. What? Co mu dal? Topside.
Taking away important real estate. Shao nowhere safe to stand on site. And as much as Hero will try to find
6, kámo, to je vyrovnaný actually. Ale BBL jdou teď na lepší stranu. Když na mě párnem, to je, kámo, na to jsem imunní už. Co já jako zabil? Emea Phantom dává jako docela s ním ten social byl nakládán, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Toto je bota of bota, akcent toho komentátora. To je nějaký IR prostě. Nový komentátor, co tam je na ty jakoby méně zajímavý zápasy. Hodně klepe nohou ten Happy. Hodně klepe nohou. Joko, komu fandíš? Čus, já fandím BBL.
Navi now with twice as many attacking rounds brought onto the defense as they were able to. The last time we saw them play this one against GX. Improvements have been made, but in the face of a brand new BBL who are back with a capital B, the question is, can they win every single pistol that we've seen so far? 3 under their belt, but the 4th would be a real difference maker.
It would. On top of that, a few players coming into this said that they wanted BBL in the playoffs, but is it too much for them to chew? That's the question that we ask ourselves here. BBL start their attack on this top side, and Navi start their defense towards B main.
Something Navi have always been good at is creating a lot of pressure from this defense and then forcing a reaction into the setup. You can see both trapwires on A, first of which spotted on Dish. Magnum to remove it. The rest of BBL are heading arcade.
Shao would have heard that zip wire being used as well and calling to his team.
Pašku, si udělat si najít něco dělat. Kolik to máš hodin? Když se nechci business dávat, to složili moc sem, ani zase nejde sem. Kámo, stav se vždycky, když se budeš cítit, vždycky tě rád vidím, kámo, back. Uživej života.
Issues with BBL on this map typically stem from not having the ideal control once they reach post plant. B site was, their preference on a lot of rounds played.
A furt čekám na ten vlogísek z toho kasína.
Just having a tiny little look towards main. We're back to square one for both teams. Navi reinvestigating, and so are BBL.
Shao will take first contact here, but the smoke denies it, in fact, and he'll decide to combine with the rest of the players. But at this point, you're looking at a free plan for BBL.
Important that Magnum gets noted here on Dish. Been very good with these lurk timings, but Profek has now pushed them to a corner. BBL
Dobrý stun.
Navi spawn.
Yeah, remember, spike plan is extremely open, and Magnum, well, he is going to get caught. So is Profek.
Ty vole, škoda.
Again, it goes Navi's way. Or will it go BBL's? It's the right position to do the bench down. Rocks, it gets a double at the end, and that is 4 for 4.
9.50 ráno vidět ten začát, to chápu, no.
You come in with 71% pistol win rate. It's a huge target on your back. I would love to know from our stat man in the house on the case, Captain Cow, to see where exactly we sit at right now in terms of that.
Enemy down. The thing for me though about that is, let's go. For frustration, but I think the big thing is you don't win rounds, or you don't win maps on pistol rounds. No. You win it on rifle rounds. That's where majority of your rounds have to be.
And that's been the issue for Navi as well, because you can already see Levin has the outlaw heavy shields, which we've seen Turkish teams.
A oni ví, že to dělá, takže už si koupili 4 velký armory, kámo, aby ho counterovali. Navi actually smart.
And that's another callback to the previous round as well, where Navi were, did a great job at maintaining this control late round. Great map material to use to just converge on the site and make that post even more difficult for BBL. As again, they group up for this B hit.
Tower's going to be an issue, especially with Hero sitting here.
Oh, and he's out in the shop window, but I tell you what, shots are worth every penny. Hero, second kill picked up already, and with the outlaw out of play, Levin loosening his grip.
No vlastně, Martin může jít, no, to přístup jak mu řekl. On může jít vlastně na Masters Toronto. Se podívat.
I've got 40 seconds left on the clock if I can. Oh, no, I'm dead. Maybe try and plan for the next. Yeah. As this one is concrete. An in-zone flawless from Navi.
Yeah, there's nothing better on your bonus rounds, right? To move into your bonus rounds with. You look at that buy once again, it gets even better. And this is like what BBL love to do. Like, they just get Yampy on a stinger and send them in somewhere. I mean, you think towards the last time when it happened on Lotus, he was able to get a double. As for this round, it looks as if BBL are going to look towards the B side.
Yeah. Swish round from Navi. Can they keep it clean?
Arcade completely cleared here, so it's a free runway for BBL.
And they've already conditioned this space heavily. Look at Roxig.
Tvůj koala noob má... Tvůj koala noob má, kámo, Bulldoga, tvůj Angel drží Vandal. Crazy. Crazy.
Navi's right here and willing to brawl. Although the smokes, they're respecting it, and that's a nice combination of utility.
I mean, so much dropped
Chudák.
off the head of Yampy.
Co dělá? Magnum, vole, lock in, boy. Nice. Nice. Má jeden náboj, haha.
With Koala down to 16, that Vandal is best used in the next. Immediate response. Navi's bonus is shut down.
Magnum down.
We see Navi get a great buy coming into the bonus round, and they can't do anything with it. I mean, sure, you get 2 kills, but I mean, one of them comes through the combination of utility. Yampy has the Rolling Thunder moving into the next. Sure, they posed a question to BBL in terms of how many different
BBL. Nice, Magnum. To je ten Phantom, kámo.
Back-to-back nade kills for Koala Noob. BBL on the site, making it look easy. It's those brim smokes again that we were talking about earlier. It's now one off of the showstopper, the Rays.
Right there.
As there you go, that's your update. 11% taken off the top, but BBL won't care so long as they can look their spot in the qualification game.
Nádherný shot. Ty vole, Koala má dobrý spot. Ty vole, spotted. Masivní. To jsem neviděl.
And with Angel gone here and no C's, it's way more difficult to combo that util. Koala will be lucky to find a nade kill this time. I tell you what, he's done a decent bit of damage onto Sociable.
Has, but he's also received a decent bit. You look at him, 14 points of health.
Onto Levin, can't handle it, can't muster up the strength to suffice the Navi push as it comes back through.
Je těžký, ty vole, jak zmrt. Ty vole, Profek. Ne. Počkej. Ne. No.
And Sociable does exactly that.
1 HP, kámo, 1 HP.
To make it 8-all.
A massive round to win out for BBL. And realistically, Sociable should have had no chance. That's the second time.
Co dal Profek?
That's crazy from Profek. And it's the kind of stuff that you're talking about as well. Astra so high on the APM. You can see what it means. But when, you know, you're giving a young player the confidence to just go ahead and play his own game. All right, Prophet, go put the smokes down and then you can just shoot them. It's so much less for him to think about.
Yeah, and I think for me as well, it's nice to see Prophet get his time in the sun here. Because you look at the last map, and he was bottom of the scoreboard, wasn't getting that much impact in terms of the kills department. But as for right now, I mean, top of the leaderboard, right?
It's the anchors on both sides which are having their time in the sun.
And I mean, it was the same for Hero in the last map. He was only able to get 7 kills.
Another young star who has found a serious upswing in performance in 25 so far. Navi putting the faith in him, repaying that trust with 20 kills already. Silent start to this one as well. BBL are making a lot of noise, but it's behind closed doors in their own territory, top side of the map. Not often you see Levin as the lurker. He's the one player slowly making his way through A main.
Need to be careful of drop here because Hero's trying to play close by and aggressive as well.
Lovely combo. Magnum scorched by
Chudák Magnum, kámo.
And as BBL is slowly creeping into this, I mean, look, we've got a Bucky on Koala, a gun on Hero, that's gone. Showstopper available, this is scary.
Klasikem ho prostě šel vypleskat. Yeah.
BBL have dealt with everything. A bulldozer through this round. And Koala maybe just thinking of going to collect the rifle that's sitting in dish. He's already got his ultimate. It'd be a nice little bolster for the economy in the next round, but that's the big thing. You've got to remember coming into this round, there was the stat line about how good Navi actually are on their ecos. They're one of the worst in the region for converting thrifty rounds.
Just making sure you have a plan coming into every round, and already Navi in the back of their minds will be deliberating how the next one opens up, because this is
BBL jedem. Teď to bude, koala bude mít vypo teď určitě, no jasný. Tak teď je to kolo, no. To hodně rozhodne, hodně rozhodne.
It's a big investment to make in a round like this. That's where you're hoping you'll get that advantage.
But I think at the same time, you say it's a big investment. Navi got everything right but the fights.
To now draw back upon a conversation I opened up earlier, yeah, they do have an assistant coach working with them now as well, Navi, so that's a benefit. I think from Happy's time on M80, so much of that support network was with Gunter, who then went to Sentinels, of course, later down the road, playing a lot of meta stuff. And there's a fun story with it as well, with Chippy coming in while he's not based in Berlin. He's provided important insight, the team has said, and it's a nice moment as well because he was previously with Bait, another Ukrainian organization, and it's a continued investment in the local scene because the first time that he met with Navi was at one of their own events ran in Kyiv. So actually, when you look back, there is that investment in the roots. The question is, do they have any more for us here in the second half of Fracture? Anything to fall back upon? BBL are the ones with the ults.
I mean, that's the thing, you speak about falling back, safety net is on BBL's side.
Máme v Česku nějaký tým, co třeba hrajou Dotu? Máme nějaký dobrý český dotaře, nebo nějaký český tým, co hrajou Dotu? Ty vůbec?
Best op in Emea, his words, not mine.
I think after the last map against Vitality, I mean, backed it up. But he needs to keep it up, needs to see that performance here. Playoffs, most important.
Offered the most duels head to head. This op continuing to float. It's Arcade, where he'll be looking to receive BBL on this round, but main is where the approach comes from, and the reposition is swift from Koala Noob. Trading places with Angel.
think it's interesting that we're seeing Sociable actually be the luck towards the top side.
A few times he has gone solo with the drone. Just raise a question mark or two, but Navi starting to gravitate towards B now. It's the op under fire! KONTENTU with a ridiculous shot. Showstopper following it up. Player advantage Navi, less than 30 seconds. BBL have got to commit.
It's all about the recovery though, and
furt má jen stun.
those players that could be the chance to save them as he comes in for a
No nic, kámo.
How much time will he realistically have to get value here?
To očekávají už tady.
He might have heard the steps, Magnum, but still, as he looks to turn the corner, Hero takes the timing, 10 seconds or less. KONTENTU still going. Up in his hands.
On to říkal, že koala bude mít vypo, no a bude to kolo, no.
When you hit his sight, a quad kill that keeps Navi going. That's the exact kind of bounce back that you needed from them.
Thing with that being the round that's just happened, right? That shot's insane. Like we asked for KONTENTU to improve, right? To show us exactly what he's made of, especially in this important match. And yeah, and with that being said, like this next round, for me, with 4 ultimates that BBL have, they can easily respond to KONTENTU's individuals.
Jo, Profek ho zkusil.
Give him half a chance already. Profek has spotted out that player, bitten the bullet. Util dump on the site.
Vidím, že zrovna Smoker ho šel, kámo, zkusit vám tapnout.
Either side of Gen.
I was thinking about this.
Not yet responding though. Spike goes in. I'll bring this to post. 5 on 5. They want to push the line.
Yeah, again though, still those ultimates are available and they're good post-plant ultimates.
Dobrá pozička od Jampyho, nádhera úplně. Nice. Oh ne. Nice. Nice, nice.
So BBL are staring at the strong possibility
of double
digits.
Banger. Dobrý, social byl další orb. Ale jako on kdyby zabil toho Profeka, tak jsou bez smoků. A dle mě BBL prohrál to kolo, no.
Just post-plant in general, right, in terms of how they were watching the smokes and trading off one another, and the fact that they got out the other end, only using the blades and the Armageddon, I mean, it's a massive dub.
Also starting to see the willingness from them a little bit more to get
Já
aggressive
se nedivím, že
situations.
Angel má takový jaký má, jak on drží tu myš, more, to je...
This lurk has been consistently threatened at this point in time, so Navi are caught in the headlights, looking both ways.
Píči.
So barriers are about to drop again. Koala has guessed correctly. His op will be trained on the line, but can he find the shot?
Big swing round. Whatever way this goes will be massive. Straight up gunfights. Utility looks as if it's been spot on, but still.
Jaký duel time.
Or more, I should say, hitting.
Oh, no, I like this from Navi as well. Smoke goes up. Signpost of authority. Seeing if they could clear underpass behind it. But say, Evan has already made his way around. He was the one player they were looking to clear out.
Timing's insane.
Škoda, že on nezabil Magru, to by ho hned vyultil, to by bylo insane. Vyhrajou BBL tohle kolo? Jestli mi spadnou sedmičky, tak jo. A BBL vyhrávají. BBL vyhrávají. Pomy. Páně si automat nelže. Automat nikdy nelže. Hezky, dobrý stun ještě od Jampyho. Easy. Easy. Do toho Kenze, ten streamuje na twitch.tv// Vašek. Tady ne, a nehraje. Kouká. Nice. To je na špatným streamu, bro.
You know, again, looking at the economy state, Navi won't have the money to get Koala back on the operator. I don't even know if they'll have enough money to get everyone on a rifle.
Spins back to the early decision making as well. Sure,
To se uklikla? Co jsi dělal? No, fajn. Se omlouváme, Kaja. Ty jsi chtěl pojít jeho account extrem. Pohodě, Kaju. A Twitch TV, lomeno Vasek. Jo, Sáklova, tam najdeš Kencera.
They set him up as the deposit. He's the player that then turns into the flank. They're, you know, changing up the ebbs and flows of the way that they're playing, reading between the lines. It's really, really nice macro that we're seeing from them.
No, Lera BBL.
It just makes it so difficult to read if you're Navi. Like, they have the stack of bodies on the site, but it doesn't matter because BBL are ready for it.
Well, history potentially in the making as we move into 2 rounds away from BBL 2-0ing Navi. We start off slow, methodical. Roxic having to stand up to the task here in Arcade.
Here.
At the same time, Navi made their way all the way through A main here. So much information as BBL have completely forfeited this side of the map.
Just wondering how BBL choose to try and play back in here.
Co takhle checknu?
Sociable's drone just going as a solo move. Actually to
No Vaška, nebudu koukat, má 30 let žili vždycky, nevím. Tak to nevím.
It's the question. They have the time for it, and as you can see, the spike starting to show an inclination towards A, but no, Profek is going to follow.
To zatrapa na té zemi, ta bude bolestivá, more. A ne pro Jetku, ale pro někoho dalšího, hehe. On ho viděl, on jde za ně, míjaj, to je mi líto. Co byl zaběhu prostě, to je ten fantom.
BBL should be expecting the second player here as well to try and clear it as 2, but Sociable doesn't need the support.
Angel ne. Angel ne, on umí jenom šerifem střílet. On umí střílet jenom šerifem.
Stun and a flash. Could it be enough? Ruxic no molly. Haunt not yet landing. Yumpy still hiding around the corner, that's half. Yumpy still biding his time, looking to win it out.
Nice, Yumpy!
Yumpy pounds his chest as Navi get dropped. A Red Bull clutch from the captain. That's map and series point.
Hazard, this is getting far too close in Navi. You look at what they have into the next round and it does not look good if you're a Navi fan. That's a few times now, more than a handful. Sit down, Roxic! But it's more than a handful that Navi have found themselves in an advantage and let it
slip. Ego posadil Ruxika.
What a moment for Yumpy to help fly the Turkish flag against the Turkish players on the other side of the server. Born himself in Finland, but learning the language quickly. A brother to Levin in this side. The team culture building week on week towards something bigger. And now just 1 round away from a 4th consecutive win. The first in the organization's history. In their first ever playoff game.
The thing to push this over the line. You look at Profek and that orbital strike.
Navi are getting proactive, starting to look towards A main. They've done this a couple of times now, but not fully found the value from it. BBL still queued up to go to the B site, but the cam has caught them in transition.
Yeah, this should be an easy call now for Navi to commit to. Levin still in B main as well.
So much utility for the defense to try and stop this.
Hero na tom sajtu, ale kamaráde, ten zabije všechny, ten Hero. Ten Hero je zabije všechny. To říkám. Angela Hero je tam všechny zničenou.
Starting to pick up the kills from themselves. Hero's still alive on site. Shao going down in the smoke as it opens up. Sociable can't find any more than just that.
Nevadí.
Will be keeping his ult for the next round.
Ty vole! Ty vole!
Oh, I tell you what, no, he's not going to invest it here. Surely not. There's no time, Profek.
Trošku overheat, boy.
And for that, you can't knock him, but Navi do get double digits in one of the weirdest rounds I think we've seen recently.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit overeager from both sides, but you win.
Trošku převařeno. Jdu na malou, jsem tu,
for Navi once again, like, still a lot of these players finding themselves a little bit tough when it comes to economy, and it's so important in these last couple of rounds. BBL bring out this timeout to just make sure that they can get themselves over the line.
I mean, BBL lose here, and you're certainly not going to be coming into the last round with the best money on the block. A couple of players that would need to take the hit. I think the big win for them is the fact that you've still got the Armageddon, but in saying that, Navi are closing in on a couple ults of their own, right? They've kept their own orbital strike with Ruxic. Xiao 2 away from the Rolling Thunder. The same can be said for Koala's Showstopper.
I think we'll find these last couple of rounds on a knife edge, like the minute details deciding these last couple of rounds, depending where the kills go, who's able to stay alive, what the money looks like, because again, it's so finely cut between these two, because you look at the money on BBL side, if they lose this, it could be a half buy into the next.
Those small differences. Still give credit to Profek for going for that.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a world where the final player is playing on the headshot box and you find that kill and win it by a fraction, but potentially costly. Little setup here, looking for the punish. It's the aftershock and the salvos. Oh, it is very well set up. Sociable, finding Xiao.
And that's big retake utility offline as well.
So Gentlemates do the same before.
Nejde nic, nejde nic.
Dej
si, ale jestli hraješ hodně, jakoby uzdát hoďku na někovak a pak běž hrát Valorant. Věř mi. Dva imlat. Ten voltaik. Grandi teď třeba voltaik. Teď na začátku, jak je to všude smurf a trollové. Grandi teď hodně voltaik a pak za pár dní tam naskoč na Valorant hodně. To je moje rada. Jdem každý den, no zkus třeba dát aspoň hoďku, třeba 2 hoďky každý den ten voltaik, vygrandi ho. Nice Magnum. Pojď Magnum, to je tvoje kolo. Ty vole, záda. Co dělá kola, je úplně ztracený. GG? Nice, GG. 2-0.
Their playoff debut, and it's the first time we see 4 consecutive wins for BBL in EMEA. They move one step closer to walking through the Prince's Gates and onto his boulevard with their own dreams to be king in Toronto.
No.
That qualification game.
Grandi ten voltaik a pak jdej třeba LOL. Nebo DMs.
A rematch against Heretics from kickoff. And Cairo, you just have to say that throughout today, they played steadfast, even in situations when it looked like they dropped off the pace a little bit. It was a timeout, a break in play, something along the lines, and they responded right away.
Dneska, to je v píči.
Fans showing their appreciation for Navi, though you'll feel a little bit hard done by. And it's what you were talking about earlier, not being able to connect these wins up, not and keep it up. And I think as well, coming out of the Vitality game, the stocks were high for Navi.
Nice, ty vole. Pecky, vole. Bomby. Nejrychlejší odehrání, úplně banger. No nic, chat. Já teď zmizím. Bude se hrát ještě Fnatic versus Food. Na ty nebudu koukat a já potom až dohrajou, tak já se zase vrátím a dám asi ranket, ale já teďka vám půjdu stříhat videjko, OK? Takže rovnou celý ples, běž. Takže vidíme se potom a zatím pa.